is the diagram of plant cell. What is this organelle? It's chloroplast. You observe that it's only found in the plant cell? Perfect. Now, what is the function, do you think? You remember the plant cell in investigative phenomena? It was green. That's because it has green granules. These granules are green because they contain the pigment chlorophyll that absorbs the sunlight from the sun. Now let's go back to primary 5 when we learned that the plants need sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water to make its food. So, chloroplasts are responsible for taking light energy to make sugars in the photosynthesis process. This is the main job of chloroplasts. And that's why animals can't make their own food. This is because they don't have chloroplasts. The sugars produced in photosynthesis change into chemical energy through the power plant. What is the power plant? Exactly, mitochondria. Mitochondria is a common organelle between plant cell and animal cell. And another common organelle between plant cell and animal cell is called endoplasmic reticulum. And its function is to connect the parts within the cell, or connect the cell with another neighboring cell. Exactly like a roadway, it moves people from one place to another. Now, how can the cell maintain the materials transported from one organelle to another? This is the role of Golgi apparatus. It helps in packaging and transporting cellular materials through the cell. Here, it's located in the cytoplasm, next to endoplasmic reticulum, and near to the nucleus. This is found in both plant cell and animal cell. Let's review the common organelles between plant and animal cell we found till now: cell or plasma membrane, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and the nucleus. Are there any other common organelles? Think. Yes, it is a vacuole. Vacuole stores all the materials, such as water, nutrients, and minerals, until the cell needs them. Also stores wastes until they get out of the cell. Look closely at this vacuole. It's bigger in plant cell. Why do you think? As we learned in primary 5, plants can't move easily from one place to another like animals to search for food and water. So they need to store them for any bad climate conditions. That's why plants have bigger storage than animals. For example, if you ever find a plant with faded and leaning leaves, this means that the stock of this plant is decreasing. Now, take your time to review the function of each organelle. Now, let's review cell components together. Mitochondria convert sugar into energy for the cell. Cell nucleus controls the function inside the cell and cell division. Endoplasmic reticulum helps in assembling and transporting proteins. Golgi apparatus helps package and transport material within the cell. Cell membrane, the surrounding layer of the cell that controls what materials enter or leave the cell. Cytoplasm, the liquid inside the cell that surrounds the organelles. Vacuole is a sac-like structure used for storage of nutrients, water, and waste. In plant cell, large vacuoles contain water. Chloroplast contains chlorophyll and carries out photosynthesis, only found in plants. Cell wall, the rigid outside material that surrounds the plant cell to give them a definite shape and only found in plants. It's clear that these organelles interact with each other, almost like a machine. For instance, mitochondria produce energy that powers the cell, while endoplasmic reticulum helps to transport protein throughout the cell. So, how would the function of the cell would be affected if that organelle was damaged or functioning improperly? Can you guess? You can answer this question alone or with your colleagues in groups. You can choose any organelle you like. Take your time, then we come back to listen to some of our colleagues.
We've thought of the nucleus, the control center of the cell, so if it was damaged, all living things would be affected.
I also think that living things might not exist at all, because the nucleus is responsible for their cell division.
We've thought of the cell wall in the plant cell, and agreed that unless there was a cell wall, the whole plant wouldn't be supported.
All the information you get, either from the text or while writing in your notebook, will help you answer the questions following the text in your book. Let's read all the questions and discuss together only the third one. Plants and animals are living organisms, right? So they both have common basic needs to survive. This means they have many of same organelles because the cell function very similarly. For example, both cells have mitochondria that make the energy to power the cell, cell membrane that controls what materials enter or leave the cell, the nucleus to control the function within the cell and the cell division. Now we have much information about the cell parts that will help us in our last activity for today, which is evaluate like a scientist. This activity title is Project Planning a Cell City. Let's check the activity on TechBook. Do you understand these instructions? Let me clarify. Simply imagine you are an engineer. Think to design a model of a cell city. What are the components of the city, do you think? Yes, the components like building or the organelles of the cell. How can you do that? You will use what you have learned about the cell organelles and their function to determine the rules inside the city. This table will help you as it shows some of the common organelles that you learned about in the previous activities, such as nucleus, that can be the city hall. It controls all the cell activities. Cell membrane can be guards at the city gates, as it protects the city. Mitochondria that can be an electric power station as they provide energy. Now, take your time to discuss with your colleagues and determine the remaining organelles in the same way. Some students thought to use it as a post office because it receives the materials and packages them to be transported. Other students thought it can be a packaging factory. Packaging factories or post office, both are correct. For the vacuole, it can be storage shed or storage facility. Cell wall, a strong brick or a stone wall surrounding the city. Chloroplasts, food factory. Let's move to the next step of the activity. Choose with your group either the plant cell or the animal cell, and write together a list of materials you would need to build your model, but try to choose everyday materials that would be easy to gather or find at home or school.
تقدر تتابع كل دروسك على تطبيق مدرستنا بلس. مدرستنا، المستقبل يبدأ الآن.